How can creators like us who are new to building online businesses who have high value skill sets, how do we scale our monthly recurring revenue or MRR to get us the freedom we desire? That is the question, and this newsletter will give you the answers. Be sure to subscribe if these are the types of answers you seek. My name is Boise Gordon, and welcome to Boise Talks Business. What would your business look like after 90 days of intense action? What am I proposing to you? My first business was struggling. Vendors beating us down the door or beating down our door for money, clients displeased with our service and deliverables, employees unsure about our viability as a company. It was horrible. We had just come off the worst month we had ever experienced, a 50% drop in MRR from the prior month. And had we not grinded out the whole month, it would have been even worse. At the beginning of the month, we normally received 80% of our orders. Well, in this month, we were only about 10% to our MRR. So we had to recover 40 additional percent MRR within the month. So what happened? We had just come off a high, crossing our first $1 million of revenue as a company. We began to celebrate and give virtual high fives everywhere. Leading up to this point, I was under the assumption that this would take years. But nope, it took a little under 8 months. But it all came crashing down not even a month later. We had issues within our company. And unfortunately, we were so blinded by success that we didn't even recognize that we had problems. We dropped off a cliff that very next month from 450K MRR to under 250K MRR. My world was burning around me and I had no clue what to do. So what do? Well, I was the CEO of the company. No one else would be taking the blame for this one. Wasn't like employees had the ability to control how the company operated. My responsibility was to give us a fair shot at succeeding, and per the numbers, I was not doing my job. So, after, things hit the fan, I decided to buckle down and look into it. So I did the math, and at our current run rate, we had about 5 months of operation until we were completely done. 5 months. And that's cutting it close. Obviously, things happen all the time. You never want to play it that close to your estimation. So I gave us 3 months. The first thing I did was identify our problem areas. Well, we have poorly trained employees, lack of proficient process efficiency, and horrible company morale. There was more, but these were the main issues we faced. Majority of the employees that were hired were my friends. And unfortunately, when you're in the thick of things and the scaling starts to happen and business is coming in, you don't have as much time to dedicate to simply training people the right way. So shortcuts were taken, right? And so when there's situations that require a more complex solution than what was presented in training, pretty much there was a bottleneck at every turn, and that compounded into problems later on. And a lack of a proficient process, like I said, same situation, but from a different perspective. We didn't even have set processes for what we were doing. Much of what we underwent was going with the flow and reactionary. And we developed processes, but each person had their own way of doing things, right? So not everybody was on the same page. And the horrible company morale was simply due to the fact that we were losing business. Customers were complaining about our employees not being able to handle the workload, and that stuff feeds into the whole company's culture, right? So those are big problems. And once all of our problems were rounded up, it was time to begin solving them. So we began solving in order of most efficient and greatest ROI. What problems would have the biggest impact on our revenue or costs and take the least amount of effort to fix? Or how can we fix them with the least amount of work required? What problem is going to give us the most relief with the least amount of energy? So within one day, I had crafted a plan to increase our cash flow, decrease our controllable errors, and increase operational efficiency. And it was a clear and concise plan that I knew would get us to where we needed to go. And it wouldn't involve a complete overhaul of everything. It was a simple recalibration, if you will. So the next 90 days, it was a 90-day plan. All of us had to be on the same page if it was going to work. I had a brief but motivational meeting with the team to go over the plan, just letting them know the P's and Q's, what I would be expecting of everybody. And I had to, I guess, remove myself from the friendship dynamic at that time. I was forced to be a CEO. And it was obvious that everyone was locked in, as over the next 90 days, we were almost completely recovered from our situation. And we went from just under 250K MRR to over 350K MRR. And it was an insane period of recovery and scaling. And, we repaired our entire business within 3 months. And it was only because we had a correct infrastructure in place. We removed all our bottlenecks. And, we buckled down and did the things that we knew would work and let go of the things that weren't really serving us, which I feel like any business who's going through a struggle should do. You should evaluate where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, where bottlenecks are occurring, what you can do to fix it without having to spend too many resources on the improvement, and making sure that you're getting ROI from any of the changes that you make, right? And that's exactly the type of work I want to do for your businesses over the next 90 days. Analyzing bottlenecks, improving systems, booking meetings, all through social media, making sure that everybody has a fair opportunity to scale their business with the right guidance, right? If this is something that interests you, or if you feel like you could benefit from a service like this, email me at the address in the PS, and we can make sure that you're a solid fit for the boot camp, I should say, and get started on the work. P.S. The Boise Talks Business Boot Camp will show you how to do it for yourself. Weekly seminars, one-on-one meetings, and a team environment, all geared towards helping each other grow, all centered around booking meetings for your business using social media. Like I said, if you want details, just email me at waitlist@boisegordon.com, and we can go from there. It'll be a fun time. It'll be kind of like how I treated my last company, where we have meetings every week. I go over a detailed PowerPoint, which you would also receive a copy of. And we discuss strategy and just talk it out, whatever problems people are having, and get solved right then and there, and keep each other accountable. It'll be a fun time for anyone who's interested. Like I said, just email me at waitlist@boisegordon.com, and we can go from there. Thank you so much for listening. Also, sorry that I have been slacking on the podcast. I've been not distracted, but prioritizing other things. The podcast will likely change in the future, so just want to let you guys know that the format and or the topics may be a little varied going forward, but we will see. Time will tell. Thank you guys so much for listening, and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.